Hello, good evening, and welcome to the program. This is Daily Politics live on Trust TV, your home for all things politics, policy, and governance. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you most kindly for joining us on the program. Now, let's kick things off with a look at today's political stories. President Bulama Tinubu will not be attending the 79th United Nations General Assembly in New York this year. Instead, his Vice President Kashim Shettima will lead Nigeria's delegation as the president focuses on addressing domestic issues, including the aftermath of the recent devastating floods in parts of the country. In other news, Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi has issued a stern warning to the Independent National Electoral Commission ahead of the September 21st governorship election in Edo, urging them to avoid any glitches that could lead to rigging. He made this call during the grand finale of the Labour Party's campaign in Benin City, where he rallied support for the Labour Party's candidate Olumide Akpata.
We don't want excuses again. We are tired of excuses. They tell us say electricity they go bring. This one, look at how Nigeria did today. To buy bread, na problem. To buy rice, problem. Peace, the orca, everything where you want, none of them they did. Fuel, kerosene, nothing. They say they will use divers, they will use RF, no glitch, no hitches. We want this election to be free and we are not looking for anybody's vote. Time of rigging is coming to an end in this country. I'm bringing your guy. I'm bringing your guy. I'm bringing your guy.
Scenes from the Labour Party's grand finale there in Edo State ahead of Saturday's governorship election. Now, in the PDP, the Board of Trustees is currently in a closed-door meeting with the party's National Assembly caucus. Internal strife continues to plague the party, with stakeholders criticizing the acting national chairman, Umar Damagun, for not taking decisive action to reform the PDP post the 2023 elections. Tonight on Daily Politics, a group of young Nigerians has launched a bold new political movement aiming to reshape the country's political landscape. Dubbed Tafiyar Matasa in Hausa, this youth-driven initiative is already creating waves across social media. But the big question is, can this movement truly make an impact in Nigeria's political arena? To help us explore this and more, we're Chief Convener of Tafiyar Matasa, Dr. Barrister Bulama Bukarti. Good evening to you, Barrister, and thank you so much for joining the conversation.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, let's start from the beginning. What informed this decision to come up with this movement?
So what you saw last night was a new era in Nigeria's political system. It was when we as Nigerians came together to launch a new political movement that is intended to inject new energy and fresh ideas into Nigeria's political system. And we started this movement and launched it last night because we are sick and tired of being sick and tired of senseless killings in our country. We are exhausted from being exhausted from the endemic corruption that is bedeviling our country. And we are fed up of being fed up with mismanagement and corruption across Nigeria. And we thought it is time to stop watching from the sidelines. It is time to get acting. It is time to stop analyzing, to stop complaining, to stop lamenting and take action. That's why we came together to ensure that we bring all Nigerians together, youth and elders, men and women, southerners and northerners, Christians, and Muslims to take the future of our country into our own hands and to reshape the political process in our country. That's why we came together, and it was a fantastic outing last night. You saw the thousands of Nigerians that are already registering, and you saw, you alluded to the wave this movement is already making on social media. I can assure you that we are going to resist. We are going to be dogged. We are going to be determined. We would make sure that Nigeria's politics is never the same again. We will change the politics of self-interest, the politics of corruption, and the politics of people serving themselves instead of the many. We are going to change the politics of the few to the politics of the many, and we are going to bring in leadership that is going to change Nigeria for the better.
Yeah, so Barrister, just a quick one. Who is we here in this context?
When I say we, I mean Nigerians from all walks of life. What you saw last night was Nigerians coming from all walks of life. For example, right now in the small group that we are discussing, there are Nigerians who are lawyers, there are medical doctors, there are PhDs, there are engineers, there are accountants, there are Southerners, there are Northerners, there are Muslims, there are Christians, there are old, or if you like, elders, there are youth, and there are men and women. So when I say we, I mean every single Nigerian that is not happy with what is happening in our country today. Take a look at it. If you met 100 Nigerians today, all the 100 Nigerians are not happy with the insecurity, with the inflation, and the mismanagement of government resources going on in our country. And if we don't make a move now, by 2027, the existing political parties are going to field two candidates, both of which have track record of mismanagement or...
Who is there?
Sorry?
Yeah, go ahead, Barrister. Go ahead.
Open.
I was saying if we don't make this move now, by 2027, the existing political parties are going to field the same candidates who have been ruling us over the past 30, 40 years. And then Nigerians will be forced to choose between the lesser or three evils. We are not going to allow that happen this time around. We are going to give Nigerians an option so that the political system, or if they want to go by the old system that has failed us, or if they want to go by the old political parties that have woefully failed us over the past 40, 50 years, but especially over the past 25 years.
Yeah, Barrister, how do you plan to incorporate this movement into the political system of the country? Because at the end of the day, a movement is different from a political party. You're going to need a platform. Is this the plan for this movement to morph into a political party ahead of the 2027 general elections in the country?
Of course, one thing we are tired of, I can tell you, is activism or pressure group, because pressure group does not lead to political power. And the only way you can change and shape Nigeria is through political power. And therefore, we are going to follow all the due processes laid down by our laws, by Nigerian laws, in order to have the opportunity to field candidates in the 2027 elections and to inject fresh conversations and fresh ideas and fresh actors into the system, recycling old politicians, recycling old ideas, recycling old people who have been serving themselves over the past many decades is not going to take us anywhere. So to your answer, this is not a political, pressure group. This is not a humanitarian organization. It is going to be a political movement, and we are going to take all the steps necessary under Nigeria's law to ensure that we have the right to participate in elections and to change Nigeria using political power rather than pressure group. Take a look at it. The politicians no longer listen to anyone today in Nigeria. When the Nigerian youth started protests, they clamped down on the protests. Nigerian Christian and Muslim clerics went and saw the president and complained to him on the anti-people policies that introduced and how it is crushing Nigerians. He did not listen. Nigeria's traditional rulers went to him. He did not listen. experts warn on what is going to happen if the fuel subsidy and dollar subsidy is removed. He did not listen. They do not listen to anyone. And therefore, the only option is to change them. And the only way to change them, according to Nigeria's constitution, is to participate in the democratic process. And that is what we are going to do.
Right. So explain to me, I would have posed this question to you in several. Why not fix it from within using existing political structures? Why start something afresh? Fully changes the lives are quite monumental.
We are not ruling out existing political parties, because right now there are around 19 political parties that are duly registered in Nigeria. And we are not ruling out working with some of them to bring the change that we need, but we are also not ruling out, bringing up a new system that will be something new for Nigerians, so that Nigerians will not be continuously be haunted by the trauma of the political parties that have failed them. So we are not ruling out anything as at now. As you know, the 2027 elections is still 3 years away. And therefore, there is enough time for us to organize, for us to structure, and for us to campaign, and for us to demonstrate to Nigerians that we are a fresh set of people that are different from the current crop of the ruling class and the opposition.
Okay, so Barrister, let's talk specifics now. We know Nigeria is dealing with a variety of issues, much of them quite structural: unemployment, poverty, insecurity. Just to mention a few, give me your ideology, your approach with regards to how to go about solving this problem. Beyond the rhetorics of we're different, we're outside the box thinkers, we're disruptors, what is your actual plan to address these challenges?
So we do have, specific plans. Of course, there will be 3 years to develop the specific plans we are talking about, but I am going to give you some generic ideas about some of the issues currently bedeviling our nation. When it comes to the economy, what Nigeria have failed to do is creating an economy that creates good paying jobs that works for the whole of Nigeria. And to do that, you need to turn Nigeria around from being the poverty capital of the world into the human capital of the world. We have 250 million people. God bless us with 250 million people. And over 70% of those are young people. What you need to do is to harness their potentials. Train human resources who will not only serve Nigeria, but also be exported to countries outside, to countries in Europe, in the Middle East, and elsewhere. We call this, there is this phenomenon we call brain drain in Nigeria, where you have our doctors and our engineers live in Nigeria. But what you need to do is to, expand the capacity of our universities so that we can produce thousands and thousands of engineers, of doctors, of nurses, of project managers, of software engineers, whom would be enough for us as a country, but also may be exported outside Nigeria, and some of them can work remotely from Nigeria, and they will have remittances. They will send money to their families. They will send money back home to build businesses. They will send money back home to build homes. They will send money back home when there are humanitarian crises, and therefore Nigeria will reap the opportunities that will create. This is one example. Another example is moving towards the green economy, where you have, for example, Nigeria, even the waste we have in Nigeria, the unmanaged waste. When you go to, all the cities across Nigeria, you see rubbish everywhere, which can be transformed into something important. Our water resources in Nigeria, we can use it for generating hydroelectricity. Our, sunshine, our beautiful sunshine, we can turn it into power generating, a power generating source. Just take a look at this. Even amongst African countries, Nigeria is the worst when it comes to electricity generation. And energy is important to any economic development. But over the past 50, 60 years, over the past 25 years, politicians have been allocating money to generating electricity, and yet our power generating capacity is just above when General Abacha died in 1998 or 1998 or 97. Now, we have to turn that around if we want to change our economy. When it comes to security, we know that there is mega obscene corruption going on in the security and defense procurement sector, and we have to change that. Our military, our soldiers, our boots on the ground, our national heroes are being failed because the over 10 trillion naira the Buhari administration spent on security is nowhere to be seen on the ground. You had the governor of Katsina State recently saying in a whole local government with over 200 villages, there are only 32 police officers, and of the 32 police officers, there are only 5 with serviceable guns. I mean, how are you going to secure a country when your police is ill-trained, under-equipped, and not motivated and underpaid? We have to turn that around. We have to take care of our military very well, our boots on the ground, through enhancing their salaries and allowances and motivating them to work better. We have to build our police so that they can take over from the military when the military has taken over pieces of land that have been taken over by terrorists. Right now, we have to rebuild our customs and immigration, because right now, weapons, drugs, and illegal items are flooding into Nigeria because our border system is still archaic. Our officers on the border are unmotivated and not very trained. We need to use technology in order to secure our borders and to make sure that drugs and guns and other illegal items that are used by terrorists and criminal groups don't flood into our country. Now, the final thing is about inflation. Of course, when you have gotten a grip of the economic situation in the country, when you start creating jobs that pay well, not jobs that pay 35,000, 70,000. I mean, it's ridiculous that Nigeria is still talking about 70,000 naira as the minimum wage. Remember that a country's economy is only as big as its people's purchasing power. And today, the middle class has been completely destroyed in Nigeria. What we have are a few individuals who have stolen our money and have become elites and are out on the top of the system. And then you have the rest of Nigeria, which is around the 99% of Nigeria, completely rendered poor. We cannot develop as a country like that. Nigeria is supposed to be the giant of Africa. We are not the giants of Africa today as a country, but Nigerians are the giants of Africa all across the world. And we want to develop and harness that potential in our own country to move our country forward.
Right, good point there, Barrister. Let's double down on the political reality on the ground, because we do know that Nigeria is traditionally, the political landscape, the political arena is largely dominated by older political elites. How does your movement hope to gain influence in an already congested political environment with 3 of the biggest political parties still holding sway, even in the demography that you're trying to appeal into the youth? So I'm talking about the dominance of the APC, the PDP, and the Labour Party. How do you intend to, take away their market share ahead of 2027?
I can tell you, Nigeria's political system is not congested. It is a gold mine, and it is a gold mine because the current political parties and political actors have zero credibility right now with the common or ordinary or everyday Nigerian. And it is counting, not opinion. Look at the 2023 election. Only 27% of registered voters voted in the end. So there was only 27 or 28% voter turnout. Where are the over 70% of Nigerians that did not vote? It is because they are fed up with the current crop of ruling and opposition parties. It's because they have not been given an option that can convince them that politics and democracy can deliver for them. And so even if you say the 27% who voted for the existing political parties in the 2023 elections, let's assume they would still vote for them, you still have over 70% that did not even vote. And our intention is to turn out that vote by demonstrating to them that Nigeria can work, by bringing hope back to their dictionary, because right now, many Nigerians have lost hope. They are, hopeless, helpless, and helpless. And we need to change that. And I can tell you that even among the 27% that turned out and voted last time, the overwhelming majority is completely disappointed, and many of them have promised themselves that they are no longer going to vote for the political party they voted for, and therefore that is where we come in. And I want to remind you that even though this movement started with you, the youth, it was the youth that initiated the movement. It is a movement for everyone. It is a movement for elders. It is a movement for women. It is a movement for northerners. It is a movement for southerners. It is a movement for Christians, for Muslims. Because when you go to the market, they don't ask you your tribe or your religion or your age before they tell you the price. When insecurity strikes, the bandits, the Boko Haram terrorists and other terrorists across Nigeria do not ask you about your religion or your tribe or your age before they kill you or they maim you or they abduct individuals. And so we are all united in the suffering, and therefore we have to be united in bringing about the solution, and that is what we intend to do.
We know how divisive Nigerian politics can be. Identity politics is a huge part of reality right now. How does the movement hope to engender or ensure inclusivity across gender, ethnicity, and of course, social cohesion, essentially? Because it goes with the name Tafiyar Matasa. And for a lot of people in the South, they might think that this is a northern movement and might not necessarily identify with it.
Yeah, I mean, you are right that the movement's name in the North is Tafiyar Matasa, but its English name, which can be used all across Nigeria, is the movement. And when we launch properly in southern Nigeria, we may even have Igbo, Yoruba name, Ijo name, Orobo name, and other languages and tribes. I mean, the name Tafiyar Matasa is only for the North, and we are going to make sure that we have an inclusive name when it comes to the wider umbrella under which we are going to participate in the political process. So this is one. Number two, yes, the movement was born in the North, but every movement is born somewhere in Nigeria. But that doesn't mean that movement is restricted to that particular geography. And so it was born in the North, but I can tell you even right now, we have members from Imo State, we have members from all across the Southeast, the Southwest, and other parts of Nigeria. And therefore, the fact that the movement was born in the beginning from a particular geography, or it was launched first in the North, does not preclude the South. I can tell you that the old Nigerian generation of politicians and ruling class have, successfully manipulated and other isms in order to divide us. But when they come to steal our resources, to mismanage our resources in Abuja, they don't remember that they are Muslims or Christians. They don't remember their ethnicity, and they don't remember their tribe in order to protect that tribe when they come to misappropriating our money. And that's why we have to continue to expose them as those who are manipulating our religion and other isms in the country, like regionalism and others, in order to divide us and rule us. And so that's why this movement is about coming together and unite. That's why we are not a generation of Nigerians that are known for whipping up political or religious or geographical sentiment, regional sentiment. We are a group of Nigerians that were born after independence. And so we do not know any regionalism and other isms. We want to take Nigeria to the promised land through unity and cohesion. And I will tell you one thing that can unite Nigerians. It is success. When you see people talking about breaking away from Nigeria, when you see people vilifying their country, it is because they feel the country has failed them. And therefore, the best way for you to unite Nigerians is to come up with fresh ideas, inject new energy, and demonstrate to them that your country can work. It can make not only you proud, but it can make the black race proud. And when Nigerians see that, they will come and rally around their flag. They will come and rally around their national anthem and the coat of arms, and they will unite and move the country forward and to make their country proud and to make the black race proud. That's what we are going to do. We are not. We will expose anyone who tries to manipulate religion and other affiliations in order to serve their political interests, because that did not work for us over the past 25 years.
Right. Okay. Barrister, just before we go, how do you respond to your critics who say Bulama Bukarti, Jafar, Abba Hikima, and all the others who are part of this new movement have never won an election before? They're just naive about their chances of actually making a difference. How do you respond to that? And also, ahead of the 2027 elections, how do you intend to use social media to turn this kind of support into actual votes on election day?
Look, for those who say we've never won elections, tell them that there is first time for everything. And when you look at what the youth and well-meaning citizens did in Senegal, look at what happened with Adama Barrow. Look at how President Barack Obama 2 decades or so ago turned around American politics and injected a new person into the political scene. Look at what is happening in the United States even today because of the prospect of the first Black or an Asian woman president in the history of the country. Look at what happened in France a few years ago when Emmanuel Macron, who was seen as a young person who had never won election, came and turned the political scene upside down and demonstrated to the world that the youth can do something great. There is a first time for everything. Those who are saying we have won elections, each of the political parties we are talking about today, if you went back to 1999, PDP, no one in PDP had ever won election before 1999. I mean, the party did not win election, no governor under it won election, the president did not win election, and the APC did not win elections until 2015. And so there is a first time for everything. And I can tell you that those who are underestimating us are underestimating the will of the Nigerian people. They are underestimating the suffering of the Nigerian people. They are underestimating the determination of the Nigerian people who are fed and tired, who are sick and tired of what is happening in their country today. As for social media, it's not just social media. We are going to use technology in a transformation. Social media, artificial intelligence, and others, but not just to mobilize young people and to win elections. No, we are also going to use it in order to turn our country around. Right now, if you have a good governor, a good government, it can have a 10-year plan on how to turn Nigeria into the technology hub of the world. You have over 150 million young people. We are saying they are not employed. Many of these tech jobs are jobs that you can train very quickly and become great. You can start sports centers, sports schools, vocational schools, where you will train some of the most fantastic footballers, basketballers, athletes, who will go and make our country proud, but also can make millions by playing for clubs across the world and return the money to Nigeria. You can train experts in different fields of life using technology. We are going to use technology to turn our country around. We will use technology to enhance our economy. We are going to use technology properly to tackle our insecurity. We are going to use technology to bring Nigeria together. We are in a global village, and we can easily ensure social cohesion through technology. We can transform our educational system through technology. Technology today is like the industrial revolution of the years of the decades or centuries ago. And we have to embrace it. We have to harness it. We have to become a world leader in Nigeria has to become a world leader in technology. And I can tell you, the young people we are working with, many of whom are technology experts, are going to make that happen. And that's why I tell you that the old ruling class do not have any new ideas. They have exhausted their ideas, they have exhausted their thinking, they have exhausted everything they have, and they have not achieved what they promised us. And that's why Nigerians must trust us.
Barrister, as interesting as this conversation is, we're going to have to anchor it here. Some would always say in politics, a new dawn is always on the horizon. Dr. Barrister Bulama Bukarti, thank you so much for joining the conversation on Daily Politics. We hope to speak to you soon as this movement continues to gain traction. Thank you for your time.
Amen. Amen to your prayer that the new dawn is only always on the horizon. Amen. And thank you very much for having me. I am sure this movement will continue to be your guest, and we will continue to explain to Nigerians what we intend to bring to them.
Right. Thank you so much. Our conversation there
Thank
with
you.
Convener, the movement, or Tafiyar Matasa, as it is popularly known in the north, Dr. Barrister Bulama Bukarti there.